Good morning. There's also ladies in the crowd too, ladies and gentlemen. It was a nice pleasure to be here and thank you for the invitation. I'd like to make a formal speech, although I have said to your president that I'd like to have a bit more of an informal session after this. I know there are some very practical issues that people do want to raise and we'd like to hear that from you. So the format would be, if we could, as soon as after I finish speaking, raise some of the issues that have been raised, some practical issues. I see the CEO of FRA is here too, Director of Plan and Country Planning. Maybe not directly at her, you can direct it at me, but definitely directly at the CEO of FRA. And we can have a bit of an exchange because I do understand that there are some very practical issues that need to be addressed, which we do need to address in order to have some traction regarding some of the perhaps lethargic approach to the matters that affect surveyors, and also generally in terms of development. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Beni Marama government is working very hard to build a new Fiji, basically on the foundations of what one may call a very unstable system. We are going about this in a very specific and measured manner. We are laying the foundation, a new foundation, I would say, of a modern nation, and we have to get it right. As surveyors, your job is to get it right. You calculate the exact measurements needed to lay the foundation of growth, establish the legal boundaries of land ownership, and collect and analyze critical information about our natural resources. If you don't get it right, all that flows is flawed. The nation, of course, in that sense depends on you, whilst you may be very much in the background, although most Fijians are probably not aware of the absolute critical nature of their work. However, your importance to Fiji is more than just the important job you do. You're part of a much larger picture, of a larger effort to build a better Fiji. Put simply, we need to keep talented and highly skilled individuals in Fiji. We must aggressively tackle the issue of brain drain and retain professionals Fiji needs to fuel our reform program. We are building a better future and we need to get it right. Our reform policies are working, some perhaps need to be addressed further. Our incentives are attractive and we strive for transparency. However, in order to attract and generate investment that will continue to grow the economy, Fiji must have ranks of top-level professionals on the ground. We always talk about getting lawyers, electricians, bankers, accountants, managers, construction workers. Now there's a shortage of plumbers, I understand, engineers, doctors, and nurses. And of course we need you. We're striving to get it right, and in this the surveyor's role is unique and indispensable. Surveyors, you are vital to reform Fiji, and we of course need your help. Our reforms will amount to little unless you feel part of it, unless you engage with it, unless you add to it. What's happening in Fiji is truly a team effort. Everyone on the team must do their part to get it right. We will soon have a constitution in place. This comes after we travel around the country and heard the views of ordinary Fijians, which have been taken into account as we prepare the final draft, which is going to be translated into the vernacular languages before it's actually assented to. The constitution, amongst other things, as you know, will include for the first time specific socio-economic rights, which was alluded to by the president, which guarantee each Fijian's right to things such as work, a right to just minimum wage, housing, sanitation, right to economic participation, and right to transportation. All of these have obviously very much of a spillover effect into a lot of the work that you are doing yourselves. Next year we'll of course vote for the first time in a truly democratic parliamentary election, one in which each of your votes will count equally. One person, one vote, one value. On the economic front, we are in the midst of transforming the economy dramatically, lowering taxes for almost all Fijians. Many of you may not know, but the tax cuts that you have received are enjoying. 90.5% of Fijians received a tax cut. Every single person who earned or was earning and is earning below $270,000 has got a tax cut. And of course, for businesses, we have lowered the corporate tax to 20%, 17.5% for those companies that establish a regional or global head office in Fiji. ANZ is already doing that. They're moving their regional head office from Melbourne to Suva. We've committed ourselves to introducing international best practices across a broad front, as well as to rooting out corruption wherever we find it. Why are we doing this? Because we want to generate more growth. We want to generate more jobs, and of course, more business leads to jobs. We've created tax-free zones across the country to attract, in particular, investment in agriculture. More growth, more jobs, more businesses again. We've abolished import duty for plant and machinery and agricultural implements, and reduced duty for imports of equipment used to produce renewable energy. Again, more jobs, more growth, more businesses. The mobile phones you're using now, with zero-rated duty on all smartphones. Next week we've got the 4G auction. So in a few years' time, in fact within 1 year's time, many of the urban centers in Fiji will be able to access high-speed internet information. You'll be able to send your plans, etc., a lot more quickly, in an effective manner, through these smartphones even, your iPads. Now this is again is putting us further out compared to all the other Pacific Island countries. We embarked on a series of reforms to make doing business in Fiji more conducive for investors. In the past few years, there has been a need to develop clear and transparent rules and regulations pertaining to licensing, to consumer protection, to ensuring true competition, and of course, preventing anti-competitive behavior. To get it right, one of the principal tenets of the Bainimarama government is that such policies need to be consistent and durable. Effective reform can only succeed through an effective partnership between the public and private sectors. And of course, we need your partnership to carry out our goals. I know many of you are in the private sector also. I'm talking about public-private partnerships. We've got the Fiji Road Authority that was created. Now all the roads in Fiji are essentially maintained by private companies working in conjunction with a public set-up statutory body. This is more than just an ideal situation. Such partnerships now exist and are being formed in our most important areas of infrastructure. Now the other example is Ports Fiji. If you look at Ports Terminal Limited across the bay there, we've now engaged the services of 18 Spence. It's a Fortune 200 company outside USA, about a 150-year-old publicly listed company, is going to bring in best management practices for running a port. That is critical, but it also brands Fiji. And we can talk about it in our question and answer session, because I think it is important for you to understand where we are going with this. The Bainimarama government takes a holistic view of the economy, and we also take a long-term view. In other words, policies are put in place not just for today or tomorrow, for the short term or for the short-term political gain. They're designed for the long haul, and our goal of creating jobs, stimulating economic growth, creating more business opportunities for professionals like yourself. For example, government's policy on outsourcing. So I return to my earlier point. We need to continue to build on our strengths to make Fiji an attractive place, not only for investment, but for professionals from all sectors. We can only do this together in partnership. We have to get it right. We need to be committed to the same principles of anti-corruption, transparency, and best practice. This is the vision we must share for the future of Fiji. And just as the surveyors' measurements, we have to get it right. And with your help, we will. Ladies and gentlemen, with those few words, I'd like to now conclude my formal address and open the floor for any questions. Naka, thank you very much.